the question is about angels. Are angels like robots? Okay, that meaning like robots that they don't have a feeling and they have a mission and they don't have any like thoughts about hesitating, just do their mission. So angels is the same way that Hashem gives them the goal and that's it. They don't care about anything. They just do whatever they need to do. Okay, so the answer is no. They are not like robots. The first reason is that robots, it's not only that they don't have feelings, they also cannot think, right? Right? It's a totally something else. When we think about angels, there's many sources in Chazal about different things that we see that angels do have certain way of choice, but it is not a free choice like humans have. Okay? So, for example, there's one midrash that I'm thinking about now, that it says that in the time of the destruction of Bet HaMikdash, so Hashem told Gabriel to take coals from the altar, the heavenly altar, and to throw them on the Bet HaMikdash, to destroy Bet HaMikdash. Okay, that's obviously talking about the spiritual destruction, and then the Babylonians, they did the physical destruction. Okay, so it says that Gabriel Malach, because he loves Am Israel, so he was holding for a few seconds the coals in his hand before he threw them on the altar, on the temple, because he wanted the coals to cool down a bit. So this destruction will not be total destruction, that there's no way to rebuild it. The destruction will be only for a certain period of time. And it says there in the Midrash that obviously it's talking about some like spiritual things, okay? So it's not the literal meaning, but it says there that the coals burned his hand. Okay, because he was holding them for another few seconds, it burned his hand, but he was doing it willingly because he was like pro Am Israel, right? So that's one example. There's also like examples for the other side, negative side. But it's one example that we see that angels have a certain amount of choice. He could not choose not to throw the coals on the temple. He had to. That's what Hashem told him. But he had the choice to hold them for another few seconds in his hand. Okay? And again, all of that is allegory and paradigm that we have to understand and to go deeper, not to think about like something physical, like a human being that is holding coals. Okay, even though that's the allegory, but we should not stick that in our mind. We should get the idea and then take it, give it to the freedom to get to the conceptual understanding without the physical understanding of it. So we see that the angels are not like robots. They do have feelings and they do have choice. Okay? Another example that in the negative side is we read in the Parashat Bereshit that there was Bnei Elokim, angels, that they came down and they lived with the human women's, right? And the children were the giants that were controlling the land of Israel for a long time afterwards.
They took physical bodies, or they
took physical bodies, yes. Okay, yeah. So they had it, they had the choice and they made the wrong choice.
This is Midrash.
Yes.
Yeah, but when they came down to earth, they were angels, but then they began to take on the traits of like the weaknesses and the traits of man.
Okay.
Like
so it says
you're
right.
And
You're right. So,
They became a little bit, they started taking on our emotions. And so they started to look at women and lust after women, and that's how they had
But
children.
Hashem allowed that to happen.
right. So I'll complete the midrash because I see that there's a few points that are missing. So the midrash starts that they are criticizing the human, and they said how the humans are doing those animalist things. You know, they're like only dealing with those like animalistic things. Like, what's going on with these humans that you created, Hashem? So Hashem answered them, and he said, if you were there, you would not be better. And said, I can't be. For sure, we would have been better. He said, yeah, you think so? Let's see. You go down now and see how you're acting. And then they go down, and then they misbehaved and so on, and that's the like the first part of the story.
He gave them room to understand that they were wrong.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
May an angel become a human?
What?
May an angel become a human?
It can take a humanly body, but it is not like a regular human.
Whole life, no.
No. Basically, no. There is maybe exceptions, but basically, no. Okay? I heard from one of the rabbis that were here that he came from a very interesting family, that he said about his grandfather, I think, or his great uncle or something, that all his life they called him in the family something like the one that saw the angels, something like that. And he said he heard the story that once when he was a child, so he had a certain revelation that like someone that came to their house, to their yard, and spoke with him for a while, and he was afterwards when he came to his parents and he told them about it, he was like full of inspiration and like really enthusiasm, and they questioned him, and like there was no one around, like no one came, no one saw anyone there, and from since then he changed a lot, and he was able to learn much better, and he was very very like holy person, and so they called him the one that saw the angel, something like that. There is that's like a story from the last generation, but obviously in the previous generations there's even more stories like that. So it's possible. It happens. It's not only in the stories of the Tanakh. It's also like
it's real. It's real.
Yeah,
it's a real thing.
Yeah. There's more. No, I told you one story. I know another few stories about things like that people that they can tell you that they can't say like 100% for sure, but they say they had the feeling that they met an angel.
Yeah.
Okay. So and there's no contradiction to anything, but obviously there's many people that they feel or think or say those things, and it's in their imagination, So like I'm not saying that anyone that feels or says something like that, it means that was the reality, but there is a possibility like that. Okay, but the thing is that a person should not have in mind that this is my goal, that's what I want in life. I want to meet an angel and to pray to Hashem. Hashem, I want you to send me an angel. That I'm not saying it's a prohibition, but that should not be the goal of a Jewish man. We should try to get ourselves to serve Hashem, not because of a revelation. Okay? We see in the history of the Jewish people that there was many generations that they had great revelations, but it didn't help them to become better people. Even the generation of that came out of Egypt. So they saw Ma'amad Har Sinai.
Yes, like
they received the Torah, and then they went and they did the golden calf. So what's going on? You had such a big revelation, the greatest of all, and then you're doing something like that. I'll worship. So the answer is that a revelation doesn't give you any certainty, any guarantee that you will become a better person or you perfect your character or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it even goes to the other side.
Yeah.
That someone may have a revelation and instead of giving him like encouragement, so it pushes him down.
Oh.
Okay, how we can speak about, but it happens. Okay, so the what we should pray for, what we should hope for, is that our inspiration and joy will not be dependent on angels or tzaddikim or friends or rabbis. Just to encourage that Hashem Himself will encourage us in His way, whatever is the way. Okay, I want Hashem to take care of me like a father is taking care of his baby, and I don't want Him to send me all kinds of messengers. It's also good if it happens in this way. Okay, oh Hashem, thank you. But if I can choose, I want a direct link.
Yeah.
I don't want a bypass.
That's right.
Okay. That's one of the big differences between the Jews and the Christians, except of many other differences. But one of the big differences is this: that we want direct link. We don't want to go through a bypass. Okay. So, B'ezrat Hashem, all of us will have this inspiration direct from Hashem. And all of the world, not only Am Israel, all of the world, B'ezrat Hashem.